Let's talk about what Brad Gessner is calling for at Google, and it is not good. We can talk about the week ahead, but most importantly, folks, let's start with something that took me 12 hours or so. So if you were at our event over the weekend, either VIP or general admission, or you booked a virtual ticket, I am happy to report that as of yesterday evening, about 9:15, I have successfully given all of you access to the recordings. Now, a couple of things. I did this myself. So let me give you color on how you can go get the recordings. One, I used your email to look up on Teachable if you were already one of my students. If I was successful and I was able to match your email with your Teachable account, I simply enrolled you in the course. So you will see in your courses a 50,000, I think it says replay 50,000 event. If I was not able to find your email on Teachable, I went ahead and created you as a student, first name, last name, email. Again, I only could use what I had on Eventbrite. So if you were not one of my students, you need to remember the email that you used on Eventbrite. Lots of us have multiple emails, and the only one I knew was on Eventbrite. So you should have gotten an email sometime yesterday. I started doing this at 6 a.m. I finished at 9 at night. So sometime during the day, brand new students should have gotten an email. So again, it's all available both days, 21 bonus podcasts, which you knew nothing about. It's just a gift to you to exceed expectations. And then finally, at the very bottom, there's about a 10-minute video of all the nice testimonials. During the event, the team was collecting testimonials so I could look at them when I'm having bad days. If you want to look at the testimonials, the entire video is at the bottom. So again, the team and I told you it would take 4 to 6 weeks. We completed it in 7 days. Shout out Heartfelt Productions for spending all that time and energy cutting them up to size and creating the files by speaker. Also, if the speakers had PowerPoint, I've attached the PowerPoint with one exception, Lance Lambert. I do have the file as of this morning, and I will be updating it probably this afternoon because we go from 8 to 11 here in the studio. So again, I want to thank you for being a part of it. If you want to see this awesome presentation, you've heard all about the event, you can buy it for $199. You will get the entire 2 days. You will get the 21 bonus podcasts, and you will get the testimonial video. It is all there for you. So if you want to get it, I'll put a link below, I think. We'll do something like that. So that is it. I'm very happy to report we once again exceeded expectations, but let's keep going. What did Alex Hormozi say? Now, I don't technically know when he said this, but I heard it yesterday, so for me, it was yesterday. Alex Hormozi was talking about his strategy in social media. And when he reached out to providers, he said, and I quote, "I was prepared to suck for 10 years." We talked a lot about the event. We talked a lot about getting started. We, in fact, have a lot of new YouTube channels sprouting up, which I am so excited about. But remember, this is not a 10-minute, 10-day, or 10-week exercise. I, frankly, didn't find my voice for about a year. So again, if you are getting started, I applaud you. I want to applaud you even more if you are still doing this in 6 months. The most important videos are that first ones because you build habits. It is the ones that keep going that get better and better. So there you go. Let's talk about next week. We got some great economic data coming that we will certainly be paying attention to. And the first one is new home sales. Remember, existing home sales that closed last week that reported an annualized rate of 4 million, that is contract signed in November and December. New home sales will be contracts signed in January. So, what happened in January? Rates went down. We'll see if activity picked up in new home sales. That starts Monday. Tuesday, we will get S&P Case-Shiller. Again, as always, remember S&P Case-Shiller is looking back a couple of months. We are in February. I believe that report will be for November. Yeah, I think it's November. It could be December, but I think it's November. So again, old data. The market is entirely different today. But again, in historical context, it is always great to get Case-Shiller so we can look at long trend lines. Also, we will get consumer confidence on Tuesday. What is going on with the consumer? We have seen some recent reports of the consumer feeling better and better as inflation fell and the employment market stayed strong. Did that continue? We will get on Wednesday GDP Q4 revision. It is the first revision. I actually don't remember. Did Q4 GDP come in at like 2.8 or something like that? Maybe 3, maybe it was 3.1. I think it was 3.1. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It will be revised and more accurate on Wednesday. Thursday, of course, we get weekly jobless claims. I believe last week came in at 201, expectations 212. Are we seeing anything crack in the employment market? The big number, the big report, the all everything economic report comes in Thursday next week, and that is PCE, specifically PCE core, personal consumption expenditures. Given the hot reading in PPI, it is estimated to be a little warmer than expected. But again, Thursday, PCE. And then finally, for the real estate market, we will get pending home sales. Again, pending home sales will be interesting. We've seen significant rate increase as we ended the month of January. So it would be interesting to look at that. And then finally, while we get consumer confidence on Tuesday, we get consumer sentiment on Friday. What is the consumer thinking? What are their inflation expectations? What is going on at the crux of the consumer? Let's talk about foreclosure spiking. You are undoubtedly going to see some thumbnails and some crazy headlines about foreclosures spiking. If you wanted, you could say foreclosures spike or foreclosure repossessions. So that means homeowner lost the home. Spiked 13% last month. Technically, that would be accurate. If you had to guess, across the United States, with something like 160 million households, the doomers screaming doom from left, right, and center, how many homes do you think were actually repossessed in January? Just take a guess. 20,000? 25? Maybe 50,000, right? It's we're talking 160 million households. Well, the answer, folks, 3,954. Under 4,000. Now, there is something we should be watching. It does bear repeating. Foreclosure filings. Foreclosure filings. This is something we should watch. But remember, we talked last week, FHA has extended their COVID bag of tricks. So again, the bag of tricks are out there, and they've added new tricks to the FHA bag. So we will see if extended and pretend continue. But foreclosure filings, 37,679. So less than 38,000. That is up 10% month on month and up 5% year on year. Foreclosure filings do bear watching, but again, there are so many tools in the system, extended and pretend. Foreclosure filings are likely required, again, required in order to start the workout process. It's just how the system works. So I have a question. I want to know what you would do in this situation. I'm going to outline a true story of a family who purchased a home, let's call it 3 years ago. And I want to ask you what you would do. So here we go, folks. They bought a cheap home 3 years ago. They have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 2.5%. Their payment is $1,700, including taxes and insurance. So principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Pity. Okay, $1,700. It is estimated that they could rent the house for $3,100. Now, they've just had a baby. They don't like where they're living. They don't like the area. They don't like the school system. So the question is, one more point I forgot to say. One more point. Their debt, what they owe on the house, is $260,000. It is worth today $550,000. So they have had a lot of equity increase. Let's just assume between friends, after all closing costs and fees and all of that, they have, let's say, $280,000. So the question is, do you sell or do you turn into a rental? If you turn it into a rental, it is probably fair to say, I don't know, after reserves, expenses, all of that, you're going to net probably $750. If you sell, and assuming they've been there 2 years, let's assume they've been there 2 years, you could walk away with all of that profit tax-free. This is a married couple. And again, if you don't know the tax code, after living somewhere for 2 years as your primary residence, as a married couple, you could sell and put $500,000 in your pocket tax-free. So they want to move, but they don't know what to do. Turn it into a rental or cash out, probably get the largest windfall of money they have ever seen. What would you do? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I don't know, in fairness, there is a right answer. No, that's not true. I know there's a right answer, but I know there's a right answer for me. I don't know perhaps what the right answer is for you. So another thing that we are starting to see people report on that you and I have been talking about for over a year is the housing market is broken. And I've said repeatedly that one of the statistics that we're going to start to see change and change drastically is the tenure or length of time people stay in their homes. Fannie Mae has just started to report this, and it's getting out to the national media. But again, we have been ahead of this story for quite a while. Deputy Chief Economist Fannie Mae has said that the average tenure in homes has doubled in the last decade. I should say almost doubled. A decade ago, I want to make sure, no, 2 decades, 20 years, 2 decades. 20 years ago, the average tenure in a home was 6.5 years. Today, it's 12. Folks, I don't have good news for you. I believe that 12 is going to go to 14 or 15. We are having more and more people stay put. We are having more and more people turn their primaries into residential rentals. Again, really holding back first-time homebuyer homes. Let's talk about what Brad Gerstner has to say about Google. This is not good. After the Gemini fiasco at Google with drawing people, it is now said by Brad that Google needs to have an Elon Musk moment. What do I think he means by an Elon Musk moment? Well, if you remember what Elon Musk did to Twitter, he essentially gutted the company. 60, 70, some would say 80% of headcount gone. According to Brad Gerstner, the rot inside of Google needs to be cut out and cut out drastically. The Gemini fiasco is just a sad state of affairs, what happened there. And frankly, the bigger the cash cow, the worse the culture can get. That is according to Brad Gerstner. Again, you can find that interview on Twitter or X. And then finally, folks, let's talk about something that the doomers have been screaming for a while, but now we have facts. I love facts. I hate opinions from your mom's basement. So the story goes that the U.S. consumer is in horrible shape. They are doing worse than ever, and it is all about to implode. Folks, if you follow me on Twitter or X, or if you don't, please do, you will see a retweet that I did this morning. There are some graphs that look over the last several decades, and they graph by strata. So the bottom 20%, 20 to 40%, 40 to 60, so on. And basically the graph says where were that income bracket or wealth bracket in the most pain. If you believe the talking doomers online, it has never been worse. If you look at the graph, you will laugh and chuckle. So, for example, the bottom 20% today is at a 15.3%. That means nothing to you until we have the scale of the worst period. The worst period for the bottom 20% was actually 2014, when it came in at 25%. So almost double, almost twice as bad. All right, how about the bottom 20 to 40%? Today they are at 18.2% leveraged. This is all about leverage. The worst was 2018 when they were at 23% levered. 40 to 60%, today 19.1. The peak, of course, 2008, when everybody at that income level was getting toxic loans, came in at 28%. 60 to 80%. We are in the middle class now. Upper middle class. Today, again, also 19.1. It peaked at 30% in 2008, almost 50 or over 50% worse. 80 to 99, today at 10.6, the wealthy are doing fine. It peaked at 20 in 2008, just over 20%, so a double. And then finally, the 1%. The 1% are at 4.1, and they peaked at 6% in 2008. So again, when you looked at the levered balance sheet or levered expense structure, the average consumer is doing the average consumer is doing well, certainly better than the talking heads and doomers would have to say. Why is that? Why is that? Frankly, folks, we talked about it for 6 months, maybe more. A lot of our debt in this cycle is fixed. Lots of you watching this have ridiculously low mortgage rates. That is an asset in this cycle. So again, if your income is going up, but your expense on your home is staying the same, you're doing okay. So again, all income levels are doing better today in a meaningful way. And if you don't believe me, frankly, I don't care, but go see my post on X to see the graphs, the charts, and the source. It is eye-opening when you really step back and look at what's going on with the consumer. So folks, again, happy to report that in less than 7 days, the team and I have gotten all 400 of you, VIP, general admission, virtual, 400 folks have been granted access to this 2-day event, 21 podcasts and highlight reel testimonials. Enjoy it, have fun. If you want to get your copy, it's $199. It's a great value. You will love it. Let's congratulate some folks. Jason, congratulations on getting your golden ticket. And Oscar and Rosanna, congratulations on getting your black card, your next deal. Folks, love sending these cards out. If I help you close a deal, let me know. Probably best is on IG, one rental at a time. Have an amazing day. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to do the work. Later.